This is the Best Friends Ask Why podcast
with Aaron
and Dylan.
It's so tight!
Hey, welcome to the 5th episode of the Best Friends Ask Why podcast with Dylan
and Aaron.
And we do that all the time.
We do, but
we have like an intro
that
says our names.
Our names.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the 5th episode.
No, it's totally fine that that's in there. It's just we'll get used to eventually. Like, I can't wait till we get to the point where there's so many episodes that we have a hard time keeping track. Well, I guess we have a computer.
And we'll put it up at the week before.
So. Yeah, you just look at it.
Know what episode we're on.
Is that a new beanie?
Oh. I got this shit in Europe.
Oh, it's like
Euro.
It's reflective, so it's got like safety.
Yeah, that's a fashion statement over there. All their
It
clothes
is
are
shiny.
like construction clothes.
Bet that flex.
Yeah,
Got flossing with that shiny label. We're gonna have to do shiny labels when we inevitably start making merch. Yeah, you guys can't see it. It probably washed out with all the lighting, but this is a hat with Best Friends Ask Why printed on it. If you guys have any ideas of types of clothing you like for merch, we like designing that kind of stuff. So just
you might not ever get it. It might not come out, but we'll design it and show it to you and be like, look what we got that you can't have.
I mean, it's a possibility that we could do short batches depending on who wants it. I'm already surprised by people. There's people who've reached out to us and been like, hey, we've listened to the podcast, and then there's people that at the New Year's party talked about it that I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I was just weirded out that
and the New Year's party, like the end of the night culmination.
What's going on?
I don't know. What happened?
Technical difficulty. Aaron's voice isn't.
What the fuck? What? There we go.
Weird. It's just the XLR cable cut out for a little second.
That's super lame.
Weird.
But the culmination of the New Year's party was that everyone was down here trying to rock a fucking podcast.
Yeah, at the end
it was chaos.
Somebody had told me that they had listened to the podcast and that they liked it, and I was like, that's really cool. You should come on eventually. And I was like, you want to go see the studio? And she was like, oh yeah, of course. And so we came down here, and people just followed. And it was running because we had taped the podcast with Kevin and Casey right before the party. And so I was just like, put on the headphones, you can hear kind of how it sounds.
Like.
And
that's like a magical realm. Like, it's like stepping through the gateway.
Well, with the warmthness, I think, of the microphones combined with kind of how high we have to have the gain on the mic on the headphones and the volume, you just get sucked into like this world, and they got sucked in real quick. You find yourself having a conversation like the camera's running and like as if though the mic's actually recording. And so I talked to Cassidy and Chris for probably 15 minutes, and Danica jumped on, and then inevitably later is just hammered people, like 8 people down here
arguing.
Just wrapped around the table talking shit to each other pretty much.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
We might have to watch that and see if it's appropriate to put out.
I feel like it'd be funny just to find some promos from it.
Yeah.
Just like they talked about some ridiculous stuff. Like there was gay people talking about like how much it would cost straight people to suck a dick, and like the other way around. I just walked in and I was like, oh boy. You put a microphone in people's faces and apparently they all start talking about dicks.
It's all fucking Howard Stern shit. Well, especially when alcohol.
How many times can you queef in a minute?
Let's find out.
Yeah. But so there's things that enable you and kind of inspire you on a consistent basis. Not you in general, just people. I feel like most people in this world are looking for motivation for things, you know. That's discipline is a thing that you have to be like a real tough person to be disciplined at a certain thing. It takes like a long time of forming habit before you are disciplined enough to kind of keep it something.
Yeah.
That's a mental callus like that you have to build. And in the time frame of us thinking about doing the podcast again, I found my buddy Zachariah Mayfield who you know of, he's a guitarist for the band Earth Groans, which we went and saw. I've seen them twice. You saw them once with me when you were on leave. Or not on, you weren't in the military anymore, but you were on vacation back here, and that was kind of when stuff started falling apart, and you're like, hey, I'm coming back. But we went out to a show with your sister and Jaden, which is kind of our rolling crew, which is fun to take them. It was actually their first metal show, right?
I think Jess has been, no, that might have been
she'd been to like Moss Generator. Yeah, and she might have been
seen like my bands play when I was younger.
But we took them to see Phineas, and Phineas just kicks so much ass. They're just old school God-loving breakdown kings. Like, they just go super hard. They have that old 2000s metalcore feel, like 2010-ish, when like As I Lay Dying and Killswitch and all that stuff was really big.
Before the Hitman contract.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still an issue going on with that now that he's back. Like, there's a whole group of people who just are like,
I hate you.
Yeah, even though apparently his wife forgave him. So it's like,
well, everyone else forgave him except for the fans.
Yeah.
I don't.
They're just like, it's just a money grab thing. Yeah.
I mean,
it probably is a reasonable one. But
once you play music, though, and you have that stage time, it's not something you just want to be like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Unless you've got like crippling social anxiety.
Doing anything creative is really fun, especially if you're pleasing people, and like any avenue to change somebody's life is pretty addicting, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, and he was in fucking prison. Yeah. Like, he's probably wanting to go and do something fun.
That's a big problem I have, is with people not giving people who've been through the prison system second chances.
Yeah, it's fucked.
That's like our economy, or not our economy, but like the politics around it is just based around like you've been in, and so life's just harder for you now.
Yeah.
I thought we sent them there for rehabilitation.
No, that's a lie.
Yeah, what's weird to me, man. Is just like these are the people who need second chances.
Yeah, it's like the game is fucking rigged against all convicted felons. Like, it's why we have private prisons. It's because they want you to go back to prison because they get paid for a body in a cell.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not in the nation's favor to have them succeed, as fucked up as that sounds.
Yeah.
Like, I would love it if it were different, which is why we need to abolish privatized prisons, but for now,
this got heavy real quick. It's like a topic I know I've seen enough documentaries that are about it on, but I don't know too much about
speaking
it. Oh, you did on privatized prisons?
Yeah, when I was doing my public speaking class, privatized prisons was one of my
Were you working on that when I was in Kansas?
Maybe. I don't remember what classes I was in when you were there, but yeah, I was definitely in school.
Well, I was there to see a metal show with you, so this comes full circle back to what I was talking about. But don't mean that sounded like a shitty way to be like, shut the fuck up about privatized prisons. No, I would love to get into that, but I'm already noticing in the last few episodes my continuity of just my brain pathway is terrible. So we're going to try and keep it a little more tight today. So you have these inspirations, and this show we went to, we met the lead singer of Earth Groans. His name was Jeremy, and I was just like, this dude.
Super sick dude.
He's such a nice guy and just a crazy performer. Yeah. They put on the tightest, craziest show, and they have this old school, like, nostalgic feel to me.
Yeah.
Were there they don't sound like Pantera, but for some reason I get the same kind of like aggressive feel that I got back when I started listening to Pantera.
They've got a very like DIY, like in your basement, like just gnarly show vibe to them when they're playing.
Yeah, they play every show like it's a fucking crazy house show, it seems. Yeah. And so there's a guy, the guitarist of that band is Zachariah Mayfield, and he is a crazy jump kicking, guitar flipping savage, and he plays. I noticed him first because he plays those super cool like deathcore chords where they're just like me, just the like evil doomy chords. Yeah. And me and Aaron are a big fan of those. Yeah. Those and Bwams
and Whamps.
Yeah. And so I started following these guys pretty heavily. I was like, they're, as you guys can tell from this podcast and how I talk, I'm obsessed with relationships with people. And so I noticed these guys were at a low enough level, and by their willingness to talk to me, I was like, I could be these guys' friends. And so I started watching a lot of their music videos, and I would DM them a lot, and I got
sliding in the
yeah, dude. I was trying to get that deep. And I bought some merch, and I bought a CD, and I just listened to that CD for probably the next month. And I like to watch YouTube videos. I'm such a music nerd. I'll listen to the whole album, and then I'll come home and I'll watch the whole live set of the same album that I listened to
over and over and over again
the whole day. But I came home and I watched the video, and I found that Zach was actually the director of their music videos. Mm-hmm. So he's actually a freelance filmer, and he films weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's got to be convenient for going on tour and stuff. Easy to book your day job around that shit.
Yeah. It's becoming difficult for him now. He's talking about in his podcast because he has to kind of pick between does he do his film career versus like he can't schedule weddings to film because he's got to go on tour and stuff. And he's
especially during the summertime because that's wedding season / tour season.
Yeah. And yeah, dude. Yeah, tour seasons, summer and weddings. And with weddings is you're usually booking them so far out, and tours could come up out of nowhere and be like, hey guys, you're going on a 2-week tour on the West Coast right now. And they're at a point where they're not making that much money.
Yeah.
But that brought him around to talking about his goals and his setup for the year. And I was listening to his podcast. He just started a podcast called Help Me Out Here. It's really awesome. I'd highly recommend you guys check it out. He hasn't had any guests yet, but Zach's just a really nice guy, and his production is really good. I think his vocals are good, but his video quality is fantastic.
Next level shit.
Well, yeah, he's a freelance videographer. He does insanely awesome music videos. He produces a lot of funny content and just really cool stuff. So highly recommend you guys check that out. His YouTube channel is Zachariah Mayfield, and I think the same on Instagram. But check out his videos. It's awesome. And then his podcast, Help Me Out Here. But he was talking about setting goals and like changing kind of his thought process for the year. Mm-hmm. And so he asked for people to phone into the podcast and talk about what are they called again? New Year's resolutions. Yeah, New Year's resolutions. That's what they're called. And I started thinking, because I always notice that my life is probably best when I have not necessarily a written goal, but kind of a soft goal.
Just a broad outline of what you're trying to do.
That I'm working towards. And so I thought it would be interesting for us to talk about what we think about New Year's resolutions and if we have any, or just goal setting in general.
Yeah.
Because I think that's I personally think it's an important thing to set goals, because it just kind of helps you stick to things. It's difficult to finish these big ideas with the rest of life in your way.
Yeah. Well, and you're not going to do what you set out to do if you don't really commit it to being a goal.
Yeah.
Or set a plan of action into place. It's just like, oh, I'd like to do this one day, and then you never fucking do it. But as far as like my view on resolutions, like I told you this earlier when we were brainstorming and whatnot, like I think resolutions are kind of like fad diets.
Yeah.
Like they're
Keto.
Just kidding. I don't think keto's a fad diet. It's past fad. Yeah. But it's like a hot button thing to where everyone feels like they have to have one, so it's not as well planned out, and it's kind of rushed. So when it comes time to actually execute, the success rate is extremely low.
Yeah.
Like people don't really think about their resolution until the last weeks of December. And they're like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this because I got to be able to tell people, oh, this is my resolution.
Yeah.
And then come January 15th, you're already off the wagon of what your resolution was.
I think the problem with that, and why I generally have, that's
just resolutions, though. That's not goals.
Yeah. So I try to have a positive thought process on resolutions, but I tend to think the same thing similarly, because people aren't specific. Yeah. That's my biggest problem with resolutions.
I want to lose weight.
because I want to get healthier this year. Yeah. And you're like, how are you going to do that? Or in what way? Is there a marker that you're pursuing and bettering? Is it your weight? Is it your BMI?
You trying to eat more vegetables?
Yeah. Do you want to lift more? Is there a type of
trying to run a marathon?
Yeah. Like these are specific things, and saying like, I want to read more. Where
how many books a month do you want to read? How many chapters a day are you going to read?
Yeah, that seems like a more reasonable thing to me. So I find a lot of people just shit on resolutions, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's because it's a cultural thing, because we're so social media-ized, I guess, to where we're, oh, this is what I'm doing. And when we see time and time again where those same people are saying, this is my resolution this year, and then boom, they're
those are the same people are making patterns. Excuses. And
yeah. And the new year, new me shit, when they're doing the same exact shit, like, people are just over it. They're tired of seeing the failure without any forward momentum. Like, there's, what is it, Will Smith?
Is that like a jaded thing, do you think?
Probably. Yeah. Well, I think it's just people.
Because I inevitably want to be like, good job, you can do it, you know?
Well, and it also, if there's no forward momentum in the failures, then it's just kind of like, oh, you're just doing the same old shit. So it's not new year, new you. You're just new year, same you. Because they're not doing the Will Smith shit where they're failing fast, failing often, and failing forward, or whatever the hell it was.
Do you think those people who are annoyed about it are like highly successful people who are just like, absolutely, they don't need that? Or they're like,
they're the ones that are failing too, or know they're going to fail, so they don't even set a resolution.
Okay.
Like, it's
because that's what I think.
It's the keyboard warriors. And
I asked my buddy Colby, and I was just like, hey man, do you have any New Year's resolutions? Because we were just in a lull in the conversation today, and he was like, no. He's like, I already let myself down enough, so I'm not even going to set one. And I was like, oh wow, well, that sucks. This is like, but I'm in a very,
I don't have a resolution either, but I do have goals.
Yeah, so that's, I think I can tie that into the same thing, and I can understand where like the elitism is like, these are goals because I'm a goal setting person. Well, but in this timeline, we're talking about it right now, so we can just kind of lump it in, and hopefully people will see our progress on those resolutions in 3 months and be like, hey, I shouldn't have stopped at January 15.
Well, I don't think it's an elitist thing.
No, I know. I was just fucking... you elitist piece of shit.
It's shit that I had in mind regardless of whether or not it was January 1st or not. Mm-hmm. It was just things that I was going to do anyway, so I don't know.
It just happens to be the new part of a calendar year. Yeah.
Which is, it's nice for like lining up like, oh, I'm starting on this day in the beginning of the year, so I have an easy way to track it, but it's not. I
think I'm good. I like resolutions, and I want people to set them, or goals or whatever, because of how you feel about winter and about how winter makes me feel, and just how fucking gnarly winter can be.
Yeah. And well, they just need to reframe it to where it's not that last minute thing that we talked about, where it's
where you got hammered on like New Year's Eve, and then you wake up like the next day and you're like, I'm not gonna drink all next year. So be realistic.
Yeah, you're gonna drink.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna drink.
You're gonna drink on Valentine's Day when you're alone, or you're gonna.
But are you gonna figure out how to not drink to numb yourself? Yeah. And be able to use it as a social tool?
Or are you gonna stay in the gym past that? What is it, like February, where everybody drops off?
Well, all the people who actually go to the gym are happy that those people drop off, because they're like, oh, the gym's empty again. But there's a lot of gyms, people, so there's no reason that you shouldn't.
There's plenty of space.
Yeah.
Just re-rack your weights.
Please do. I barely even do that. I have a home gym, but I'm like so fucking lazy about putting shit away. It's the worst.
After being on fucking army gyms, there's some motherfuckers that just do not re-rack their shit
at all. Yeah, that's annoying. I would never do it somewhere else, but like I find myself doing it.
Well, it's in your own garage, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and if I'm
on the floor if you want
the next day, if I'm like, where's the kettlebell? It's gonna be where I left it.
Yeah. So. And nobody else was gonna use it in between.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to talk about why it's important to set goals, and if we have any, and we could even brainstorm through some, because I haven't spent time I asked you, hey, do you want to do a podcast on resolutions yesterday? And then today you were like, hey, do you still want to do that podcast? And I was like, oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it. I've found myself already in this new year doing things that I don't usually do, which is good. Yeah. I think they're good things. Like I worked a 12-hour shift for my first day back to work, and I worked a 10-hour shift today. And I mean, there's other things that I want to get back into also, like spending more time and working out and stuff. But yeah, I guess if you've thought about kind of some of your goals.
Well, my goals I've had for the most part since I got back, because I'm trying to rebuild my entire life.
Yeah.
But I think since January 1st hit, the things that I've kind of been like, okay, it's go time, is school's coming up. I start school on January 7th.
Aaron's going to be a smart boy, guys.
Ooh. I'm going to get that associate's finally. Jesus. Yeah. It's taken like 3 years. But, so my goal for that is to just stay ahead of the curve, because my procrastination is heavy. Like it'll take over if I let it. So
yeah,
the goal for that is just stay ahead of the homework. And then I started looking for new jobs, because this one's just sucking my will to live.
Yeah.
I hate this job so much. What else? I want to start writing. Like daily, just sit down for like 15-20 minutes and write.
I'm glad you're saying 15-20 minutes, because 3 days ago you were saying an hour, and I was like, that's a lot.
It is. But eventually I'd like to get to an hour.
Yeah.
But the more realistic first milestones, it's like 15-20 minutes.
This is a pivotal, or I said pivotal. I want to kill myself already. I said pivotal so many times. I saw this other podcast. But this is like a marking point where I want to break off for a second and make your goals small.
Yeah. You eat the elephant one bite at a time.
I'm doing keto right now, and I have to name drop keto once at least. Keto. But I've lost 22 pounds already on doing keto, and I've barely worked out at all. But I set this goal the first time, and I was like, I want to get down to 225 pounds. I was 237 to begin with. And so when I got that goal, I felt like, sweet. I didn't go, I want to hit 185 pounds.
Yeah.
Because when I hit 225, I said, oh, I want to hit, like, I want to be below 215.
Wow.
You know, it's just like, I'm kind of walking down. I mean, 205 is my it's my middle goal. It's like that, if I'm trying to fill the bar, it's the halfway mark where I'm like, this is a big one.
That's like the cheat meal is finally deserved.
Yeah, but I'm down to 214 pounds the other day, and right now I can see that I've met my goals a few times.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying this, and it's been 3 months, and I'm going forward with this thing that I enjoy, and it's made me feel so much better. And now I can realize that I have the discipline to get through this, and I can start to build on top of those goals and create them bigger.
Foundation.
So I see now, I want in the next 2 months, that's my goal. I need to get on the scale to really realize if that's a possibility, and I think it is.
I'm sure if you started working out regularly,
the
rest of it would just fucking fall into place.
Yeah, but I just want to get sub 200 before the end of January, or the end of February. And I think I'll give myself an extra 2 weeks on that, you know, to be like mid-March if I want to see below 200 for the first time in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal to me. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm already getting to the point where people are commenting on how much better I look, and I feel better already. But I can see that, and I'm so excited. And I get to feel that way because I set these small goals.
Yeah.
And I got to walk myself to the greater thing. Like,
you're doing the walk, crawl, or the crawl, walk, run shit instead of trying to just
We just started a podcast.
Fly.
What do we want to be? We want to work as podcast. We want to be podcasters, but we're not going to get there unless we can understand the progress.
A weekly episode. Like, that is the first goal. Do that for
We need to get people to comment on episodes. We need to get people to engage. Like, there's things that we can set as markers that kind of make the game more playable.
Yeah.
Do you ever like?
It's
I don't know.
Achievements and the side quests and all.
If
that
you play
shit.
a game and there's like if you played
You've
Fallout,
got one main objective,
and it was just the story mode,
yeah,
and you never did any of.
Well, it was the story mode with no progression points either. It was just go from point A to point B.
It's one giant mission. You can never pause for lunch.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like, what's the best part about Fallout?
It's the side shit.
It's side missions. It's stupid ass side missions
in a random town and just wreaking havoc.
It's Googling like how to find a special weapon and going to some weird trailer in the middle of the wasteland and doing this game puzzle and figuring out where this AR is with a specific name. But these are like little stepstones that you get to take to get there, and
or
then
just walking around and leveling up so that you're overpowered as fuck.
And then you can play this game for so long and realize all these things that you've finished, and you don't have to finish the game.
Yeah.
And you're still like, oh man, this is sick.
I don't think I've ever finished a Fallout game.
No, me neither. I don't think I finished one, but I've played the shit out of them, and I had a really good time. But you notice that you're getting towards the end of the game at like this crazy high level, so your guy's already a maxed out character. So would you rather get to the end of life
being crazy,
happy
out,
and like full powered and strong and like your ultimate self, or would you rather just not realize your progress, not see anything until you finally get there and you go like, oh, I made it, and then you die?
Yeah.
Then it's over.
Shit was good, I guess.
Yeah, if you spend your whole year thinking about all the stuff you fucked up rather than these small monthly increments of figuring out the things that you did that were good, and you can...
Well, you can even go smaller than monthly. You can go weekly.
Yeah.
I don't know if daily would be a good thing, because then it's like...
Take it one day at a time.
Well...
I'm just kidding.
It's not... I feel like giving yourself daily goals can be good, but it's almost not as big of an accomplishment.
I don't. Yeah, having daily goals is difficult, but I feel like forming daily habits is important.
Well, but I feel like that's where the weekly goal comes in, because your goal is like, this week I want to do this every day. Yeah. And then you can be like, it's the end of the week, I did it. Fuck yes.
Yeah. And if you're talking about something and you're setting a goal and you go like, hey, I want to work out for 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And then you think about it with all the things you have going on in your life and all the stuff that impedes on your time, and I want to spend this much time watching Netflix with my significant other, and I want to spend this much time doing whatever. I need to do this thing. I need to go drive my sister to school on this day, and I need to do this thing, and I'm supposed to go to youth group if you're a church person or whatever, and you think about all those things, and then you look at that number as 4 days a week, and go, how many can I do that for 52 weeks?
Yeah.
Can I do 4 days a week for 52 weeks? Probably not. So you walk it back one day.
Yeah.
And you go 3 days a week. Can I get that? And then possibly you get down to the point where you're realizing, with all the things that I'm stressed out about right now and I'm thinking about right now, 1 day a week. I can do 1 day a week.
Yeah.
So do one day a week.
That's the podcast goal. Like, there's no excuse why we can't put out an episode a week.
And we already fucked up.
Yeah, we did.
We already messed up. But
that was
we didn't stop.
Out of our control.
Yeah, it was. But we could have also had another podcast done.
Yeah.
You know, right now we are doing a podcast now that'll release in 4 days or 5 days rather than in 1 day. But we failed, and then we realized, oh, failure is just a part of this game.
Yeah.
This is a part of life, and we're going to just get back and do better and reschedule that podcast that we fucked up, and realizing that it's okay if you say, oh, I want to be shredded by the end of next year, and you right now are at like 40% body fat. You're just like, oh, that seems really fucking hard. Don't set the goal realistic so that you can build to the point where you can form a habit of something. Yeah. 1 day a week is your first goal, and then you work out one day a week the first week, and when you do that one day a week, you're like, man, it's Monday and I already did my one day a week.
Yeah.
And then you could be like, I could fuck off for the rest of the week, and you're fucking off for the next 3 days, and then it's Thursday or it's Friday and you're sitting there and you're like, man, I got some time. I could get a second day. I fucking double my goal, and you go do it. And then the next week, you're like, man, I did 2 easy money last week, and you can do 2 that week. And then as you get through the month of January, you realize, oh man, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And you have this habit formed, and you can continue it through February, and eventually it'll become within your means to do more and more, and you're building this.
It goes from goal to habit to lifestyle.
Yeah, and then by the end of the first quarter of 2019, you're a fucking savage, and you're like, what other what other habits should I be forming that I could realize that I need to walk through these things and not run?
Yeah, I think that's a big problem with resolutions, is everybody's trying to run into them, like to have the lifestyle.
There's a lot of treadmills
right
in the gym.
away. Yeah.
They're gonna run it.
Just run it. But you have to take those walking steps. Like I've fallen victim to it so many times where I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm so pumped, blah, blah, blah. And I don't break down the goal into the smaller chunks, and I just see this big picture, and then eventually it becomes this giant looming thing that I'm like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
I just push it off to the side because it's too big.
Yeah, like I want this podcast to grow into something that's like very produced, and not in a way that it'll be edited or changed in any way, but I want more camera angles and better lighting, and I want to have a background YouTube channel that kind of reflects on whatever we're feeling on a day, and has vlogs, whether it be about our snowboarding or mountain biking or whatever things we just like to do and what get us in the mind state to do a podcast. But we got to get comfortable with doing one a week before we can do that. I need to learn how to edit the footage. You know how to edit the footage. Like you could work on like being more creative of like thought process of what we're going to talk about on a podcast. Yeah. There's just like certain things that we need to figure out how to be more jack of all trades and fill each other's shoes so that we're more comfortable in doing this. But it takes time to get there. Yeah. And so we're a team, and we'll hand off the things that need to be handed off. But that's awesome because we've strengthened numbers. We have a team that we're building, but we're also pursuing a goal. And so instead of us just being like, this is awesome when things happen, we get to high five another person. Yeah. So find a group.
And scream yeet as soon as we get home.
Yeah. I wrote it.
Dylan's home.
It's written on the whiteboard over there. But there is tactics that you can take so that these goals that you set are reasonable and that they're doable, and it's finding a person that can be a part of them with you, telling the world,
an accountability buddy.
Yeah, telling the world explicitly that you're going to do something. Like if you post on your Instagram story, I'm going to go for a run, and then you should probably also post a picture of you sweaty after that run, because everyone's going to be like, you're a fucking liar. I'm just kidding. That was like
and
a
then
motivation.
You should tell them to be like, hey, if you don't see me run on this day every week, you need to blow me up and say, hey, you're being a piece of shit, go run.
Yeah, it's they say like if you want to follow a diet, it's really easy if you just take pictures of your food.
Yeah.
So if you spend a whole week, for people who have decided to do a diet and you've had problems with diets in the past, think about,
do it for the gram.
Yeah, do it for the gram. For real, do it for the gram, dude.
Do it for the
Tag
gram.
us in it.
Yeah.
Please do. Tag us in all your shit about your goals. We would love to. Like, we would love to hear about them. If you need advice on some of them.
Well, tell us about, like, 1, your goals. 2, your strategies that you have, or what you feel like your shortcomings might be in strategizing to meet your goals. Like, we're trying to build this community, so this is a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, everyone that's in this community already, these are my goals. How should I go about trying to meet them? And then we'll all interact and give each other internet hugs.
Yeah, if you just want to post like on your Facebook and be like, hey, this podcast inspired me to make this goal, and this is how I'm going to do it, and post it on your Facebook so that you can build your own community of people who might feel the same way about that same thing as you. Or and your goals don't have to be about, we're talking about working out and eating right now, but they can be about anything.
Well, those are like the big resolution.
That's the resolution ones for sure. Yeah, because everyone's always disappointed in themselves. But realizing that you're awesome and that you can just be more awesome if you try to, don't do something for someone else, do something for yourself.
Yeah.
And so I look at myself in the mirror and I go, okay, like I think I'm kind like I make myself laugh a lot of the times, and I feel fairly smart, and I'm okay at this, but I'm terrible with money, and I'm fat, and I don't walk my dog as much as I should. And it's just like I can be loving of myself while also being critical in a way that doesn't hurt my own feelings.
It needs to be critical, but not like judgmental and harsh. Like, it needs to be just harsh enough to where it'll get you to take action, but not so harsh to where you're like self-loathing.
Yeah. Like fat shaming isn't a good thing unless you're doing it to yourself.
Fat shame yourself into the gym.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to make yourself depressed, that sucks, and you should reach out and
not do that.
Yeah, and come work out with us and have fun doing it so that it's not this like brutal thing that you're doing. But if you find out what's the way to motivate yourself, and if that's positively, then do it that way, and if it's negatively and through hatred of your own self, that could work.
Yeah,
it can. Sometimes it does. And so find if you can maintain a healthy balance within your own self of that. If you can be like, you're a fat fucking piece of shit in the mirror, but it's not going to make you like pull the gun out of your end table, then it's like, okay, try it. Yeah. But if you feel like it's making you feel shitty, then don't, and reach out for help and
find a different way to motivate yourself.
Find a way to motivate yourself, or make your goals smaller. Your goals should be hard and scary, but attainable.
Yeah.
So we can set these goals that are long and crazy, and we have this goal that we would love to be.
Well, it's like getting a college degree. Like, you can say, like, I want my doctorate.
Yeah.
But
you have a couple steps before that.
You break it all the way down until I need to enroll in school.
Yeah.
And then I need to get the associate's portion, my general education, my fucking
And in your head, you
classes.
have that idea for there's this thing that I want to reach.
Yeah.
But how am I going to walk myself to that? Because the more steps you complete, the more excited you will be that you could actually reach the end.
Well, and then you start to fall in love with the process through shit like, I'm going to go study abroad for a semester, or I'm going to try this new gym, or I'm going to try a different sport, or jiu-jitsu looks cool because it fucking is, and I'm going to try cool. I'm going to try that shit, or I'm going to go punch someone in the head with big thick gloves.
If you're local and you have trouble working out, find a way. Do come over, but also if you have the means, find a way to make working out fun.
Yeah,
we're talking about working out right now, and we'll talk about our goals that aren't necessarily fully about working out.
One of my goals is to get back into working out.
Mine too, but I haven't set a specific number on that kind of thing yet, and I would like to more.
Yeah,
but there's Spark Hot Yoga in Mill Creek, or in Snohomish, and as our finances of the hosts of the podcast get better, I'm sure if you would like us to go with you, it's a possibility that we could go do that with you, and we could do that as a podcast, and we could go do hot yoga. If you have children who have too much energy and you want to find something fun for them to do, but you also need a way to kind of motivate yourself, find a martial arts gym.
Yeah.
Take your kids to jiu-jitsu and stay later so that you can go to jiu-jitsu too. Go start cardio kickboxing. Just find a way to make what you do fun. Go to Zumba. I don't care what it is. Like, if you're a house mom, or if you're like a dude who wants to do yoga,
go take fucking dancing lessons. That shit'll make you sweat.
Yeah, just find a way to keep yourself interested and to be fun, and that'll help you maintain your goals. If you can,
and you'll make
friendships.
Yeah, you'll make friends, and you'll become a part of that community, and that's a huge motivator.
And then you can tell them about this podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I noticed that, bringing it all back to jiu-jitsu, because that's where it goes for me, but once I was a part of that.
What do you mean? Community? A hypnotic sticker and your jiu-jitsu?
My jiu-jitsu sweatshirt?
Yeah.
What it became for me was, it wasn't so much going to work out. It was, I'm going to go hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
and working out is just what we happen to do.
This is a podcast, but this is a way for me to talk.
Yeah,
like
we're just hanging out.
For us to have a big, like, ask a bunch of intimate questions about each other and to be no bullshit to each other. We are both fairly motivated people, but we also fail and fuck up a lot. And so this is a way for us to be like, hey, fuck nuts. Like,
get back on your shit.
Yeah. And you guys just get to hear us tear each other down. But.
Well, and now you get to be a part of the conversation because you can say, hey, fuck nuts, you guys aren't doing your shit
like people tell me, Dylan, you said like too many times on this podcast. And I'm self-critical of myself listening back to the podcast, and we want input because we want to be better, and one of our goals is to bring as good of a product to you guys and as good of conversations and as much to learn as possible.
And not say pivotal as much.
Yeah. I have only said it once this podcast, so I'm doing pretty good.
At that.
If I say it again, I'm going to stab a pencil into my leg under the table. But yeah, so I guess this is a time for us to talk about specifically our own goals. You've spent more time thinking about them than I have, I guess, and so you did the school one. But do you have any other ones that you've thought about?
Because finances are tight, I think I'm just gonna swallow my pride and hit up all of the jiu-jitsu gyms in the area and be like, hey, I don't have money, but I will help teach a kids class, or I will stay after and mop up, or help clean, or whatever. Like, I just need to train because I don't want to be that blue belt who got his fucking blue belt
and never went back.
Then stopped training. Like, it's not for a lack of want, it's a lack of finances. Because I came from a place where I was training for free because it was just part of the Army community, and it's what we were doing. But now I have to pay money to do it, and I can't afford it with this job that I have now. So I mean, things might be different if I get a different job, then I might be able to afford it and it might not be an issue. But in the meantime, I think I just need to swallow my pride and be like, hey, I can't afford this, but I need this in my life. Is there something we can do? Like, I'm not above cleaning the mats or the bathrooms or whatever. Like, let's make something happen if we can. So jiu-jitsu is one of the big things, and the first step in my goal for that is to just contact everyone and be like, hey, this is my situation. School is the next one, but that's kind of, it's set up in a way to where that's its own thing, to where I just
get through it,
just go to school and do the homework on time. That's something that I've always struggled with, but I think being this close to the finish line, because these are my last 2 classes to get my associates, so being a high school dropout and being this close to the finish line, I'm just like, fuck it, we're going hard. Like, I'm gonna get this and be like, oh, fuck you teachers who said I wouldn't do anything. Like, I got my associates, and I really want to get into the bachelor's program and be a registered dietitian finally, because it's been a long journey to this point, and I'm ready to just kind of be done with it. I'm ready to be done with school, hopefully, and not have to go back. Plus, the GI Bill is really nice. It's nice to get that money. I'm just making sure it's still recording my voice.
Is it?
But yeah, we're good. And then I want to work out here. So fitness is a big thing, because I just don't want to get to the point where it's almost summertime and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to take my shirt off. Because that seems to be a trend with me, especially in the wintertime, because all I want to do is sit and watch Netflix and eat whole bags of chips and order pizza and not do anything. Another thing is meal prepping. Like, I'm probably going to go to Costco and get some Pyrex shit so that I can start taking lunch, and that'll help with finances as well. Finances is another big one, but that one I don't really have
a realistic goal yet, because you don't know what's going on with it.
I just want to get to a point where, well, I'm just waiting right now. I'm waiting for my GI Bill to kick in, because once that kicks in, I'll have a livable financial situation. So that one's more of just like embrace the suck until it's over. And then the podcast, I want us to bank episodes again. I want to have at least like 2 in the pocket at any given time, so that if something happens where the audio was fucked up, then we've got something to salvage it, and maybe even get better at doing all the editing either right after or the next day.
Yeah.
So that it's not.
I want to be a part of that too.
Yeah.
I want to.
We can sit down and do that, and hopefully Adobe stops being stupid.
Yeah.
And starts working with the graphics card.
We need to contact Jess.
Yeah. Figure that out. And then
that's my goal. I'll text Jess after this.
My only other like personal goal is the writing one. Like I want to sit down and write for 15-20 minutes a day. And it's not like, when I say write, I'm not like trying to write a novel or write poetry or anything like that. I'm just going to sit down and free write. Just whatever comes out.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping with that it'll generate ideas for the podcast or ideas for skits or side YouTube videos. Like I've had this writer's block for so long, like even with guitar. Like I've been trying to write new acoustic songs, and I keep coming back to the same riffs over and over again, and I've got no lyrics that I am satisfied with. So I'm hoping that sitting down and just writing, I'll have this batch of information to draw off of again. Because I used to do it, but I've used up all of that material. So now it's time to just start creating again.
Yeah.
But I think those are my only real goals for right now. Other than, I do have another big one. I want to get outside more. Like, whether it be snowboarding or taking the dog. Like, I've thought about
We're going to go
this
tomorrow, but a little tight on money, so I don't know if we'll go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But one thing I've been thinking about lately is, like, coming home and then going just to some random trail with the dog. One, to get him out of the house, because I'm sure he's fucking stir crazy.
Yeah.
Especially because it's raining. And two, because I know that when I'm outside, I just feel better.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find ways to limit my basement dweller time.
Yeah.
And I'd like to go down to Seattle like once a month, just to like put myself in an environment where I can meet new people.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that I'm actively looking for a girlfriend. Like, the idea of a relationship right now kind of makes my skin crawl. But it's
because you don't look in the mirror and see someone awesome right now. You're just like really tied up in what you feel like,
it's not
what's
even
going on.
That it's not a self-hatred type deal. It's I'm trying to do all these things that I just listed. Yeah. And I don't have the time to give to a relationship. And unless I can find somebody that's like, it's cool, you do you, and on your downtime we can like Netflix and chill, and then we'll go and do our own things, and then come back. And
all you want to do is Netflix and chill.
Well,
after 6 months.
Not even that.
I'm just kidding. Just after 6 months. That's what she'll say.
It's all been Netflix and chill. You've done really good with your goals, but
you've done all this stuff for you, but what about me?
What have you done for me lately? But yeah, I think I need to get better at socializing, because I've thought about making the transition into real estate. So I think in going out and forcing myself to, one, talk to random people, because I'm not really good at that. Like, if a conversation starts, I'm okay, but I'm not like a cold call person. Yeah. To where I can be like, oh, hey, what's up? How's your day? Blah, blah, blah. We're best friends now. Like, that's not how it works for me. So one of my things is I want to just go and talk to random people. Like, that's why I want to go down to Seattle like once a month. Yeah. Is to talk to random people. Maybe try and pick up a girl. I don't know if that's going to be part.
You're definitely strong enough to pick up a girl.
Big deal. Okay. Mission accomplished.
Reap!
The patriarchy. Oh, fuck. But yeah, I think those are my only real goals that I've been thinking about, and they're not fully fleshed out yet. Yeah, that's just
like we were just talking about setting specifics, and a lot of yours won't, and mine won't be either. Yeah, but I feel like I'm a habitual enough person, and I have enough goals set. I've completed enough that I feel confident myself to at least slightly pursue these things and to maybe not fulfill. And so I'm going to set some real dry ones that are super easy to get. And then I'll set big ideas, you know? Yeah. So for me, what I've been thinking about the most is the pod is a lot about the podcast and about being creative. I've wanted to do it for so long, and my brain is so creative, but I want to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
So I think I want to get a camera. We have a camera, but I want to get a camera a little more cinematic, vlog oriented, and not necessarily start a vlog, but I definitely want to start.
Well, to have the ability to do.
Yeah, and this next year, I want to be able to do either a vlog or skits related to the podcast as advertisements, or even just funner Instagram stories that are a little prettier.
Or just do like quick 10-minute videos on something we talked about in the podcast. Like there's
like if we didn't get to talk about some band we're listening to recently, and we want to do a video on that in a different setting, and it'll just keep us in a creative thought process of maybe it'll help us get outside more and that kind of thing, because that's one of mine also.
Not getting sucked into the YouTube.
I want to camp out of the back of my car, I think, at some point this year. That's something that I might try to do as spring comes on. I kind of want to...
I thought about going to REI and just getting like a map, like one of those map books of all the trails and all the camping spots, and just start fucking checking shit off.
I want to drive out to the Olympic Peninsula. That's one of the ones that I'm going to do this year, and I definitely want to do that, is I want to camp out on the Olympic Peninsula with Archer. I've been talking about going on camping trips with Archer for like a long time, and if that means you drive your cross-check out and we back them up together and we have Creature and Archer, and there's a fire pit, but I want to go do some sort of solo thing that's like without me and my whole family. It's just me and the dog, and I wouldn't mind doing that by myself, or if you wanted to tag along too, that's okay. But I have like a thought process of like I need to be out with my dog, and that's something that I want to do. And I'm gonna camp out of the back of my car.
Just be solo in the woods at a given time.
Yeah, and even if I'm just sleeping in the back of it, and just drive there that night and fall asleep that day, and then wake up and explore, and then drive home. I don't care, but I want to do that.
Yeah,
I went backpacking a couple years ago, or like not last year, but the year before on my birthday, and it was so amazing. And I want to do that again. And then to have a camera to take more pictures and get more stuff on film. I want to be doing more documenting and more. I feel like documenting stuff and carrying a camera around in a way is a way to excite yourself to do things that you wouldn't usually do.
Well, it's like the writing for me. Like it's a way to just generate creative ideas or things that you can pull from. Like you can see, oh, this shot was really cool. I need to go out and do more of things like this.
Yeah, I need to get a fucking drone now. and that's another big thing of mine, is in this year to purchase more things with a purpose. I'm terrible with money, and so I'm working a shitload of overtime right now in the hopes that I can make, like, we have the wedding coming up in October, and Chelsea wants to go to Salem at the end of this month, and that's really expensive. But I just got a big raise at work, and I have the ability to generate a lot of money. And so I'm just forcing myself to suffer so that I can generate that money, so that I can feel more safe and she can not feel so stressed out about, I'm not good with money.
Yeah.
Like this brain that gets to be like thoughtful and like excited about loving people and bringing people joy usually does that in a way that sacrifices my own well-being. I don't do it in a way that hurts me a lot, but I do
just financially
and emotionally sometimes too, but financially I do a lot of sacrificing because I care more about how other people feel about life than I care about how I feel when I'm stressed out about my lack of money.
Yeah.
Like it was more important to me it's more important to, like, when you're feeling financially stressed out, for me to be like, I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to get Aaron dinner too, so that he's like, oh, dinner is sick. Awesome. I get to eat food. Like that's, it's these small things that I really care about. And like when
I appreciate it.
Oh, I know you do. And so it's not like a thing that it burdens me at all, because it makes me excited to have the emotions that you got other people have. Like when I started mountain biking, and Devin wanted to get into mountain biking, but Devin's smart with his money, so he didn't want to get into mountain bike, or he wanted to, but he was like, I can't do it right now. Yeah. And so I got him into mountain biking. And
Or snowboarding.
I think it's
with me.
okay that I do that. Yeah, or with snowboarding, and I totally think it's okay that I do that, and I want to continue to do so, but I need to figure out that I need to have a basis of financial health.
You need to secure yourself first.
Or if I'm doing that, I need to pay for it later in a way that I understand that I spent this money. I need to make that money.
Yeah.
And to have it before I spend it is of course the way.
Well, I also think once the wedding's passed, things will be a little easier because you don't have this looming expense.
Yeah.
Well, the wedding and honeymoon.
To be honest, though, I haven't spent that much on the wedding so far. It's been mostly like me and Chels have a breakdown of our finances, and so really when we started paying for the wedding, all the wedding stuff kind of transferred to her, and then I just all of the bills that she was paying, that she was contributing to, I just
took them
nutted up on those. So then I just took them back, and then I just pay for all of them, and that can create resentment in certain times where I'm like, you're spending money on like this thing that's fun, and I'm over here just paying for power and internet and all this bullshit.
That's where the
was
team
like
shit comes in, though.
Yeah, and realizing and being appreciative of her for nutting up and spending money on something that causes me stress but causes her joy.
Yeah,
like the wedding and the aesthetic of it and how it feels and how it looks and how it's going to be picturesque, and these are things that are really exciting to her. And to me, I'm excited for her more than I'm excited myself. Like I am excited. It's going to be fucking awesome. I know it is.
It's always like, well, not always, but for the most part, weddings are for the wife.
It's her day. I would like to get married like probably in like the snow or something like that, or like in a mountain, or when it's sunny, and she wants to get married at like this pretty, like it's like a place that was moved over from Wales in Lakewood, like piece by piece. It's like where Stephen King filmed something, and when I walk in there, I feel uncomfortable. It's really pretty, and it's kind of creepy, and it's old, and I'm just like, I wore moccasins to go tour it. I was like, I just do not feel a place here, but if this is what you want, this is what you want. And so I need to be more supportive of her wanting that and be more willing to contribute to that in a financial form, rather than being jaded about all the bills that I have to pay. So my goals are very financial in a way, but in a way, not that I need to spend less money, definitely, but not that I think I spend just like fucking crazy. I think I need to change the way that my brain feels about what spending brings me. A lot of the time, spending brings me a cure for boredom in the same way that when I smoke cigarettes, or the way that I vape. And a lot of things that I do is in a way to make myself feel less anxious. I've been dealing with anxiety since I was a child, and most of the things I do are based off of that.
Like, I'm bored, I want to do something, let's go snowboarding.
Yeah, and trying to snowboarding is a way for me to get on nature.
Yeah.
And it's the same way that I am with kickboxing to me is working out, but it's fun. Being in nature to me like is really important, but sometimes I don't want to just go walk in the woods, and so to have a mountain bike, or to
have a
snowboard, or to go hiking with friends, which is like an event. And to do these things is a way for me to get out and get my brain healthy. It's to experience joy, but also sweating at the same time, and like to use my body, because it's one of the things that brings me the most joy. But doing that in a place where I'm not using my phone and having fun. It's not. See, snowboarding and mountain biking to me are their tools and vessels for health, in a way that's different than me buying something off Amazon that I want. You know. And so finding the things that and another part of that this year is going to be throwing away a lot of the stuff that I have. I think I'm going to go through and not purge my house. By no means is my house going to be like a minimalist house. But finding a happy medium between minimalism and where I am now, and finding
just a functional house.
Finding a medium between the way Chelsea lives her life and the way I live my life, and trying to find where I'm comfortable in between, and create a healthy setting for me so I don't feel anxious about it, and to purge the garage of some of just the random things so that it feels more like an inviting environment to me. In the same way that this room is like very minimal, but I'm almost like, I feel like I want this room to be a little more homey in some ways. And so finding that happy medium is one of my goals this year, is to just purge my system of
excess
material and figure out why it is that material is I'm using that material to heal my emotions.
Well, I think that's a very standard thing that a lot of people do. Like, I find myself doing it too. Like, when I don't have money for a long time and then all of a sudden I have money, it's like, oh, I'm going to go buy some random thing that I don't fucking need or didn't think about until earlier today.
Yeah.
When I finally had money. Like, it's American. I feel like it's the way we've been programmed through commercials.
I just need to figure out that having money in my account is as exciting as having things.
Yeah.
Because having the freedom to do the things that you want to do whenever you think about them,
that's better than
awesome.
Having a cool trinket.
It's better than being like, I kind of want to do this thing right now, so I'm just going to go do it as heavily as I can so that there's no money left in my life. And then 3 days from now, when that one auto payment that I have set up comes out, you're like, fuck me, man. Are you serious? I have $7 to live on the next 2 days or whatever. You know, it's just that stress is a problem, and I need to figure out how to purge that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about financial health, and pretty much what that means to me is working more hours.
Yeah.
So I'm working more hours, and I'm gonna be tougher in a way that, and that doesn't sound like something that's specific, but it will be specific in the way that I still want to work out at least 2 to 3 days a week. 2 to 3 is kind of what I'm setting for myself right now. Even if I work overtime.
Yeah.
I don't care if I work a 12-hour day. If I'm not doing a podcast that day, I have an hour to an hour and a half that I can work out before I need to cook dinner. And so
instead of getting sucked into
Chelsea has narcolepsy. Like I can't, if she can come home and finish wedding stuff, I can come home without narcolepsy and be like, I can fucking go work out for a little bit.
Yeah.
I can do that. I don't have any excuses in my life to tell me that I can't do that. So
other than the little bitch voice that takes over every now and then.
Yeah, but I'm getting pretty good at telling him to shut the fuck up. So I just kind of want to be better at that this year. And so the podcast is a big thing to me. I want to put out 52 episodes this year.
Yeah.
So this is our first one. I want to put out, this is our first one.
Wasn't the one with
Kevin? Oh, no,
yeah.
Kevin was the first one of the year. And I want to put out one every single week.
Yeah.
I want to put out 52. And I don't care if they're solo or with guests, but I want to put out 52.
Yeah.
And I want them to be reasonably good. And if we put out more than 52, I'm stoked. That's awesome. Yeah. And we might occasionally put up a bonus episode and stuff. I want to sell 20 t-shirts this year.
Yeah.
Sell them. I want to sell 20 t-shirts. So I want to make a t-shirt of my own design and have people pay us for it.
Yeah.
And that would be fucking awesome. And I think we could easily do that.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
We just have to resist the urge to give the t-shirts away.
Yeah. And I want to get like, this is a hard one to set, and maybe we should set this later. But I want to talk about like how many subscribers for the YouTube channel we should shoot for this year.
I mean, we're already at 34.
Yeah.
And that's with minimal promotion.
Yeah.
That's with no paid promotion. That's without really harping on how important sharing it is. That's like as organic as it could be. We hit 34. So I don't think it would be unrealistic to hit 1 to 500 this year.
Okay.
Like at all.
I don't think that's 500 just to challenge ourselves.
I think 500 is completely realistic. If we doing the 52 episodes, we're still going to get organic traffic. 2, if we start doing bonus content where we're doing like 10-minute videos every here and there, that's going to generate even more because that's the stuff that people can see on Facebook and will drive them to watch the longer episodes.
Okay.
So
Sorry, if this seems weird to you guys, you're watching and listening to the podcast right now. We're talking about the back end stuff, but it's important because you guys are part of the community. Those subscribers are you guys, and those people are our family. Like you guys are so integrated in these goals.
I had so much fun talking to people about the podcast.
It's awesome, and it's not an egotistical thing that we're
and seeing them come down here and enjoy themselves without us. Like we didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, we literally were just walking around. Like I had a cup in my hand. I was like signing my time card.
I think I went back upstairs.
Yeah, I just spent time around, and I sat on that fridge for a couple minutes. Yeah, and just enjoyed people being a part of it. But it's more about the community that we create than us doing it. Yeah. It's to get in people's heads and make them feel good, and to make them feel motivated and positive, and to be a part of the community. So us saying 500 subscribers is just hopefully us creating a bigger family.
We want 500 friends.
Yeah, we want 500 friends. We want 500 hopefully semi like-minded people. Yeah. We don't want an echo chamber, and we don't want a cult.
We want our views to be challenged. I'm not against that.
Yeah, but we just want more people to be a part of the journey.
Yeah.
And so
to be able to say you were an OG back when they only had 34 subscribers.
Yeah, so those are kind of some of my goals. I mean, I'm sure I have more, and there's more I'll talk about. And getting sub 200 pounds in the next 3 months. Oh yeah, I have one more. I want to stay keto for at least another 3 months. Yeah. I probably will do it all year. To be honest, I really like it, and I like the way it makes me feel. But I want to. I've done 3 months. Since October 1st, October, November, December, I want to get through the end of March. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to cheat at all. Like,
every diet needs a cheat meal. Like, that's what gives, as long as it's not like a cheat week.
Well, it's been 3 months, and I've had 3 scoops of rice, small scoops of rice, 2 scoops of pancit. Filipino shout out to all the Filipinos with your fucking bomb ass food. Oh, yeah, I've had lumpia. 2 or 3 times. Yeah. And then I've had like 4 chocolates. So I've had the equivalent of 1 to 2 meals in 3 months worth of carbs.
Yeah.
In 3 months. I think I'm doing awesome. Yeah. I think I'm doing really well. And so 3 months from now, I would like to say about the same amount of cheats that I've had. Because it's pretty easy to not cheat, and it's pretty easy to be disciplined on this diet, and I would just like to kind of stay with that.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of my goals and what I've been thinking about, and we'll of course talk about more stuff in the future. I'm sure goal wise, but off the top of my head, that's kind of what I have. Please reach out to us with your goals, whether it's related to. Strongly recommend it being related to being creative. We would love if you guys do something creative in your own life. If it's not posting to the internet or whatever it is, it makes you feel good to use your consciousness, like something that your brain, us as humans have,
just to create.
Not a lot of others have. Just to create, to be artistic.
Like doing this shit felt good, and that's why
do a DIY project on Pinterest to make a recipe. Bring me keto cookies. But if you guys could do something and set goals, if they're creative, if they're workout related, if they're health related, if it's just about spending more time with your grandma, or if you are a church goer and you want to go to church more or read more of the Bible, it doesn't matter what it is. We really just want to know what it is. We'd appreciate it if you would contact us with what it is.
Yes. And slide in them DM.
Yeah. And post on your Instagram stories about the podcast, and just be open with us. We appreciate it. If you like the podcast, tell us that you like it. And if you have the courage, tell other people that you like it.
Ego.
That's telling us that we like it is a motivator for us to keep doing it. Yeah. Honestly, and I mean, we've already set up that we're going to do
the right track.
But yeah, if people, there's been a lot of people who I didn't think would, and they do, and it's awesome.
Well, all the feedback is good. Even the negative stuff, it helps us reframe the direction that we're going in order to provide a better product. So any feedback that we get, we listen to, we take it into consideration, and we implement changes to make a better product.
Yeah.
Or make a better podcast.
Yeah, we got to stop using those
product and content-y and the back end words.
But the thing is, this is a production.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are listening to this because we've built something, and what's important is just that we're talking to you, and we're excited about it. But there is a back end weirdness to it, you know, and
maybe we just need to start doing more back end meetings and less
talking on the podcast
meetings.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if that was bothersome to you guys, but if you enjoy the podcast, if there's certain ones that you enjoy more than others, tell us about it. If you like the podcast enough to tell your friends about it, we really appreciate that.
Yes. Help us get to that goal of 500.
500 is going to take some work, and you guys need to get to
help.
Work. Get to work.
There's only so much we can do. There's only so many people that we can hound to be like, hey, did you subscribe yet? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna share it? So the more that you guys do, the easier.
Just organically feel like you love us.
Yeah.
Tell people.
Do it organically with us telling you to do it.
You love us, right? Don't you love us?
Oh,
Don't you want us to be happy?
Don't you want us to succeed?
Look at me, I'm so cute. Please just share the podcast. I'll let you guys pet my new tiny dog if you share the podcast.
Pet the pan.
What are we at time-wise?
We are at an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So we went easily over.
Yeah. Did we have anything that you want to hit that we didn't? We hit short-term, long-term, my school.
Okay, you all have fucking Netflix. I know you do. Probably half of the people listening to this have my login. Because the other day, I'm in my bedroom and I'm trying to watch Netflix. Chelsea's been having the problem with her eye, and she's just feeling like shit. She's on muscle relaxers. Yeah, it's the Exorcism of Emily Rose and of Chelsea Eileen Orius. And I go to open my Netflix thing, and it says, sorry, we can't open your Netflix right now. It's being used on not one other device, not two other devices, but 4 other devices. I pay for the premium big family package of Netflix so that would never happen.
Oh,
so I group text all of my brothers and sisters, and I'm like, hey, you fucks, are you guys on my Netflix right now? And Jordan says, I am. I think Veli is too. Jared doesn't text me back. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so that's 3 people. I should still be open. Apparently either your sister, my grandmother, or my dad was also on it at the same time. So your sister, my grandma from Boston. She just moved home. So she got it in Boston when my sister went to visit. She still uses it. So I was like,
I need to just give my sister mine.
I was just like, I'll just watch Red Bull TV. Fuck it. That's how I just watched like a snowboarding documentary. But if you have Netflix, which you do, Punisher. Have you watched it?
I watched the first season.
Oh my god, good. It's so good.
Yeah,
you have to be really into gruesome violence. Yeah, but holy shit, so good. John Bernthal is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
I've heard he's like a method actor, so he'd probably be mad annoying to be around while he's actually filming like The Punisher. He'd be like, you fucking killed my wife. I'm gonna fuck your dog.
You so much.
Yeah. He's just like super asshole. And you're like, hey, John, could I get you...
Fuck you.
Are you interested in a coffee? I'm interested in slitting your fucking wife's throat.
I didn't think I'd be able to, like, when I saw that he was playing it, or playing the Punisher, I didn't think I'd be able to like him because I hated him as a person after he played Shane in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Because he did such a good job of being that...
He's a really good
character. But, yeah, I love the
Punisher. So he's actually been on Joey Diaz's podcast, and he's that good of an actor because he was a fuck-up baseball player, I guess, when he was in college. And so they sent him away, and he, like... was talking to some counselor or something like that, and they're like, he went to a theater class, and he was just taking a theater class at this college that he was at when he was a baseball player, and he was getting in like a shitload of fights and stuff and just brawling with people on the streets and just doing crazy stuff. And he goes to a class, and much like Mark Wahlberg in The Other Guys, where he's like, you think I can't do this pansy ass shit, when he's like dancing, doing ballerinas and stuff, this tough guy was watching somebody do like a crying monologue, and he's like, motherfucker, I could do better than that. And so he did it, and then the teacher was like, you're really good. I think you should go to Russia to go to this academy that this like crazy acting program was at. And so he went there and like they taught in Russian and he learned how to be an actor.
So he's a sleeper cell
in Russia. For real, dude. He is a sleeper cell. At any time they just say like Formula 45 fork jujitsu brown crayon and then he's just like and just starts murdering
the Winter
people.
Soldier.
Yeah. But that's where he learned how to act, and then he's he's in like Fury, and I haven't seen that yet, but I heard that movie was fantastic.
Pretty good.
And he's in The Walking Dead, and he plays he's the best villain, and then he plays Frank Castle in Punisher, and he kicks ass. So watch the first season of that show because on January the 18th, the second season comes out.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be so sick.
Dope.
And then it's going to be over and Disney's going to cancel it because fuck you, Disney, for starting your own fucking streaming service.
Boo.
It's so lame, dude.
That's so dumb.
They just want to make
money. Why don't
money.
they know that Netflix is just the monopoly? Like,
I don't get. Well, everyone's moving to a streaming platform. ESPN Plus is starting now with the UFC on it.
Everybody's just trying to get that money. Well, it doesn't help that cable TV is just
faulty and
dropping
broken.
off. Nobody fucks with
Nobody
cable.
wants to pay for ads anymore.
Yeah.
All the ads are actually in picture now.
Yeah.
They're all running while the TV show
it's
plays.
That subliminal shit.
Yeah, so
they're just
going to
start injecting ads into our dreams.
I always love watching movies and I can see when they've done product placement.
Yeah.
There's a part in the Avengers, the first one, when they're in New York and Captain America runs right. He just runs right by like and like right here in the center is where there's a Kia, and it's like it's
perfectly placed.
It's like not damaged at all.
Yeah.
It's like really nice.
Oh, that Kia must be really durable.
It's or it might even have been a Nissan because of the Nissan NSX at the end. But I don't know what car it was specifically. But there's just a really nice one right outside this big glass building, and he runs right behind it, and you see you're like that looks way too fucking nice.
Yeah, that looks like a commercial.
They like throw a Coke and they catch it and they're like, a Coca-Cola.
Now I can win this fight.
I just need my Monster Energy. Man, I just feel like a Monster Energy.
Well, they used to do that shit all the time with like Burger King. Like they'd have the big movie releases that the toys and whatever would be in the Happy Meals and whatnot, and then they'd be eating Burger King in the movie or some random shit. I remember seeing that ever since I was young.
It's pretty funny just being able to like catch it if you're watching a movie and you're so immersed in this movie. Like the Avengers is like this big experience,
and then it breaks the fourth wall with a commercial.
Awesome. Yeah, or you're like watching Avatar and it's like big beautiful lines, and then you just see like boom 777. No, I'm just kidding. The Armada Corporation.
Yeah,
it's just different bullshit. Yeah, that's always funny. But that January 18th, that show comes out. I believe they just released a new trailer for it, so you should probably go check it out because that show is fucking fantastic. And quickly, I want to talk about one more thing. I was torturing Mariah the other day listening to metal upstairs. So I like to listen to deathcore. It
wasn't just metal, it was deathcore.
It was really aggressive.
They're not saying words, they're just saying brie.
Yeah, pretty much they're just saying they're saying words technically, but they don't.
They're just saying one syllable of a word.
As someone who understands what they're saying, I don't understand what they're saying.
Well, it's just because they wrote the lyrics and then they pick a syllable of the word that they're gonna go to.
Yeah, one syllable. They just kind of mouth it slightly to resemble the one R in the word. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm listening to Oceano and I show her Signs of the Swarm and these just really aggressive bands that I tend to listen to just because of the tone. Yeah, those kind of music is so heavy that even I don't understand what they're saying, and so I'm not going for some sort of
overall smashing
mood. Yeah, it's just like
heaviness.
It's just crazy heavy, and so I'll listen to it because it's almost like a meditative thing for me. It is weird that I like it's meditative to me to listen to like pretty much like.
Well, it drowns everything else out because it's so heavy.
It's so
like,
heavy.
This is all I can focus on.
It's double bass and 808s. But we stumbled onto this one song or this one band that is an instrumental band. So if
They've
you
been
don't
around
like,
for a hot minute.
Yeah. I just recently discovered that. I'd seen clips on Facebook. But if you guys like instrumental metal or like the sound of heavy guitars, but don't want to hear the crazy lyrics and the stupid screams, if you think of them that way, Buried Alive is this band on YouTube, and go on there and watch
like strawberries.
Yeah, Buried Alive, BERRIED Alive, and their logo is like a strawberry, and it's like all metal.
Strawberry.
Yeah, and they have like an album called Buried Alive, which is a bear, and his ears are like shooting blood out the side of his cartoon ears. It's like Happy Tree Friends meets super gnarly death metal.
Yeah.
But with they do have vocals, but a lot of the videos on YouTube are him and probably his wife or his girlfriend or whoever the chick is who plays the bass. I have no idea. But it's this dude and this girl, and they produce the whole thing together, it seems. And they have really cool merch, and they just play super crazy music.
Yeah.
And go check out one of the instrumental videos so that you don't have to listen to the screaming.
Strawberry.
Yeah, Armstrong. That song I think has vocals, but you could probably find it without.
They're very punny.
Yeah, all the things are like Arm Strawberry and Buried Alive and like just stupid, just stuff like that. It's awesome. But highly recommend checking them out. And thanks you guys for listening. This has been the 5th episode of Best Friends Ask Why. Have a good day. Love you. Bye.
Thanks again for listening to today's episode of the Best Friends Ask Why podcast.
If you like what you heard today, we'd really appreciate it if you could go on whatever service you use to listen or watch the podcast and leave us a review.
5-star reviews are what helps spread the word and build a community around our podcast.
If you have any cool guest ideas, questions, or just want to reach out, hit us up on our social media at BFAY. That's BFAWHY.
One last time, thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing